I'm Britta, or in my native language, Britta. I speak to you because I think in this moment of crisis, and crisis it is, isn't it? We should get together and we should learn from each other and we should listen to each other and maybe exchange ideas. Crisis, I've read somewhere, or maybe somebody told me, I don't remember. Anyway, in the Chinese language, as you know, they don't use letters but signs. The sign for crisis is made up of two different signs, one meaning danger and the other meaning chance. Now, isn't that just wonderful? Yes, a crisis like the crisis we're all in now. Wherever you live, whatever you do, however old you are, we're all in a crisis together these days. And it is a danger for all of us. But, and that is where I would like to put my emphasis on, it is a time of a chance. Now let's think, because the crisis, doesn't it? The virus stops us, stops our ordinary lives. Lots of things we used to be doing, we can't do anymore. We just can't. Taking care of each other, we have to, change things. Now, where do we start changing things? Stop and think. First thing, don't panic. There's no reason to panic. Believe you me, you who are probably 1 or 2 generations younger than me, believe me, there's no need to panic. Calm down. It's always a good idea to stop and think. And then, first thing I would suggest, how about starting to change in our own small environment, in the things that are around us? Like, I'll give you an example. Look at this wonderful, I think it's wonderful. Maybe you don't think it's wonderful. I think it's absolutely wonderful. Look at this new sofa of mine. Actually, the sofa is new, just the material is new. It's very important that we feel content, happy in our individual surroundings. Whether you live in a house, in a room, in a flat, look around you. What is there that you could change, that you could embellish, that you could make nicer? And it is very important. You wouldn't believe it. Whenever I sit, I've only had this for a few months. And before it was yellow, but only yellow, you see. And I wanted a new material, a new cover. And I thought, I'd always enjoyed the yellow, so I was going to have yellow again. But I went into the shop, where they sell that sort of things and make it. And I walk into the shop and there is this beautiful, very colorful armchair. And I said on the phone to the owner of the shop that I want yellow. So I walk in and without even saying hello to him, I say, sorry, we're not going to have just yellow. We're going to make it really colorful. Color is something very, very important. You might not have thought about it, or you might, but you might not. And to enjoy every day your surrounding. Another example would be your bathroom. How about your bathroom? Making that more beautiful. Or the companion of my sister works in a business that produces kitchens. And of course, at the beginning of the virus, they were very worried about their business. Would they be able to sell enough kitchens and to earn enough money to go on with the business? Well, in fact, they sold as many kitchens as hardly ever before. You have to enjoy being at home. That's important if you have to stay at home for so long. So my first suggestion to you would be quite a simple one. Stop, look around, and see what you can do. You may, if you're short of money, of course, you can also have a look at the internet these days and find out how you do it yourself. Yeah? If you're a clever person, you'll be, and I'm sure you are, sure. We all are. Don't worry, you'll manage. And make it more, start with that. Next, I would suggest, after that, but it's going to take you a few weeks perhaps, it's not going to be very fast, but it doesn't matter because this crisis, the virus, we're still going to stay with the virus for quite a long time. So it's okay if it takes a few weeks for you, arranging, thinking, buying, making. It'll take some weeks. Wonderful. You're going to have a lot of enforced time on your hands, I'm afraid so. Next, what about sorting out I call it my office. All of us, we all have sort of kind of offices. I went into, my files are still paper files. Your files are probably electronic files, but it's the same basically. I found, you'd hardly believe it, but it's true. I threw away 24 big paper files, full, 25, all full of papers. When I threw them out, well, you'd ask, whatever can she have had in those files? Well, I'll give you an example. I had all the papers, the documents, the notes to my PhD thesis in the files. Well, as you can imagine, it is decades ago that I wrote my thesis. I didn't even know I still had all the papers, really everything. So that was alone was maybe 5 or 6 of those big files. And then a lot of things you'll find you don't need anymore. And it enlightens, it takes weight off your shoulders if you throw those things out, the things you don't need anymore. It's a burden. Everything you own, everything you keep is a burden. So throw it out. Of course, things you don't need. Obviously, we need to keep some papers, but generally speaking, do. And what else could I advise you? Yes. When I was young, people in my country, people still spring cleaned. I have no idea whether in your country, do people do, or did they maybe do spring cleaning? Maybe you don't even know what it is. If you're very young, you may not even know what I understand by spring cleaning. I explain, may I? It's cleaning. I'm sure you clean every week or every 2 weeks is fine too. But probably you rarely, for your ordinary cleaning, you probably rarely get onto a staircase to dust on top of, on top of my bookshelves. Rarely do I dust up there, I must admit. Actually, I do it once a year. That is spring cleaning. Clean and spring just once a year. That's the idea of do it in spring. Of course, it doesn't matter if you do it in winter, but only once. And you clean on top and underneath and behind and inside. So in all the places you don't ordinarily clean. And it's lovely. And afterwards you feel really, you think it's wonderful. Cleaning is a wonderful job to do, particularly if you have time on your hands. And that we all have, don't we? In these terrible times of a crisis, don't we? So that would be another suggestion. And the last suggestion for today, we might meet again some other time, and I would be very happy to see you again some other time. And my last suggestion is go down into your basement. Now, I don't know in your country, of course. In mine, nearly everybody has at least part of a basement. Like in the house where I live, there are 19 different flats in the house, and each of us has a little space in the basement. We share the complete basement of the house, the 19 of us. And there you can, of course, dump. Dump is probably the right word. You can dump everything you don't really need anymore. So after a few years, you will be amazed about the things you have gathered in your dump. So to sort that out, also very interesting. You might find things that are still of use for you, but I imagine that's rare. Mainly, I would suggest you find things that you haven't used them the past 5 years. You're hardly going to use them the next 5 years, believe you me. Okay, so these were the suggestions I wanted to make to you today. In the future, I can make some more serious... No, that's not true, because I mean this seriously. There are more serious topics to talk about, of course. But I mean this seriously. It's nice to enjoy where you live. So maybe until we meet next time, you have already found out that I was right there. Have a good day, and particularly in these times, take good care of yourself so that we meet again happily and healthily next time.